gotta roll this thing back because I don't want to wake up my daughter with it, so I'm gonna roll it outside. Portions of inches on either side.
If you're here for the Mustang build, don't worry, we'll be back to it next week. I had an opportunity this week to test out the new Fujifilm GFX100S II, so I decided to do some car stuff with some friends and spend some time with the 996 as I had just pulled it out of storage. So I decided to hit the highway down to Seattle.
Met up with a couple friends, we're heading down together. My buddy Chris and his Mark 8 GTI. Got my buddy Jamie and his 240i. Really fun, really cool cars. We all track together and stuff, and they want to tag along. We're heading down to Seattle to meet up with some friends down there. We're going to test out the Fuji GFX100S II down at a Cars and Coffee event, and then we're going to shoot around for the day. Check out how it is on video and stuff like that. I'm on the XT5 right now. We're going to test that thing out. It's a full frame, large format camera, so it's going to be pretty rad to try out, and I'm really excited. So I'm going to finish gassing up, probably get a coffee somewhere, and we're going to boogie on down to Seattle.
And in typical Pacific Northwest fashion, it was pouring rain the entire way south. We made our way to a coffee stand in Burlington where I got out while we were waiting for our drinks, snap a couple photos of the GFX. Instantly was enamored by the quality of the photos. This one of Jamie's 240i in the blue morning light was probably my favorite. We continued down the interstate towards the Seattle area, made a quick bathroom and gas stop just outside of Everett, tested out the camera at the gas station, grabbed a drink, continued on. My friend RJ from Guards Rad Garage had invited us down to a little hangout that they usually do on Sunday mornings in Seattle. Ended up meeting some friends that I had actually been following on Instagram for a while and seeing some cool stuff, including an Integrale and this wicked GT3 RS. From there, we headed to Lake Washington, Cars and Coffee. We arrived to Lake Washington, to a full parking lot. We managed to grab the last few spots. The rain wasn't too bad, so we walked around and saw a bunch of cool stuff. Basically just kind of hung out and shot the shit. And watched really neat cars roll by. It was really cool to see these Alphas out in the wild. I didn't snap any photos that were anything really to write home about. It was more just kind of enjoying it and getting used to the camera. I really don't like to shoot at Cars and Coffee events because really the cars aren't doing anything except sitting there, so you know, it's more of a place to go and hang out and just have fun to me. What's going on, everybody? We're down in Seattle. Been running around here all morning. Met up with a couple friends from the area and hit up Lake Washington Cars and Coffee down here just to try out this GFX100S II that Fujifilm Canada graciously lent me for a few days. Figured why not do what most people at Cars and Coffee do and bring an expensive camera to shoot cars in parking stalls. Spent the morning there, grabbed breakfast with my buddies that I drove down here with, and now I'm in Golden Gardens Marina, or one of the marinas down here. Just been cruising the parking lot because there's actually some really cool cars parked around here. I saw an old Volvo P1800, 65 or 66 Mustang Coupe in red. Looks like it's been parked a while. There's a few cars that have been chilling here for quite a while. I think they're marina cars that people park here and, you know, they take their boats and then they just kind of leave them. The camera, as I said, I'm using is a Fujifilm GFX100S II. A lovely camera. It's got 100 megapixels on a massive sensor. I'm using the Fujifilm GF 50mm, which is about, I think, 35mm equivalent. It's an f3.5, so it's got some good light and some speed to it. The camera itself is pretty large, which I kind of like. I like the size of it. It feels good to use. Very heavy and tactile comparing to other Fuji cameras. This one has a ton of cool settings. It takes really nice photos. Footage from it, the video footage is actually really incredible. And it's got like, I think 6 stops or something like that of internal stabilization, which is pretty cool. So you can actually shoot pretty smooth handheld footage, which you've been seeing me doing. It's got a bunch of presets right on the dial that you can program in instead of through the quick menu, which I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I've been messing with it today, getting to know it a little bit more. It's after 2 o'clock now already. I've spent most of the day kind of messing around, but gonna start making my way back north, find a few spots, take some more shots, see what I can see, test out this GFX. I'm starting to enjoy it. It's starting to grow on me. It's been a really fun day so far. Probably gonna spend a few days with it. Pretty stout, I'm happy with it. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here because it's getting windy and it's about to rain. And we're gonna make our way back towards Canada and see what else we can see. Welcome back. We are back around home right now. I am just outside of Mission and Maple Ridge at a place called Hayward Lake near Stave Lake, Stave Falls. This entire area is like kind of the little remote section between the two towns out here. There's a lot of cool little driving roads and spots to hang out and shoot photos. The sun is actually out today, which is pretty sweet. I'm gonna find a couple cool angles that I've shot before out here. Just gonna enjoy the day and enjoy the GFX. So far with this camera, I am, I'm really liking the size of it. It's very easy to handle. That being said, I'm not sure how much I like it compared to the other Fujifilm cameras in terms of the ergonomics. The joystick isn't as nice as the other ones in terms of like, it seems like you constantly have to double tap it to get it to move where you want. The menus and stuff are a little bit, getting to them with the buttons is a little bit different. You can program any button you want on these cameras, which is nice, but just some of the quick menu stuff is a little bit different, which I guess it's just more me wrapping my head around being used to like X-T5, X100, GFX, X Pro, that kind of thing. So this is it's just more modern, but the build quality is really, really nice. I haven't taken this 50mm lens off the camera. It's actually really fun just to have a 50 on it and shoot kind of day to day. So yeah, we're gonna tool around town here and explore this camera a little bit more, get some shots, not just of the car, kind of the surroundings. Nice area, and the sun is out, so I want to enjoy it. All right, so one thing that I kind of enjoy doing with medium format and large format is adapting old lenses, as a lot of photographers do, because they have that nice nostalgic softness to them. It's really nice to use old manual focus lenses, slow down the process a little bit. I brought out my GFX to Minolta adapter, brought out the Minolta 50mm f1.4 that I have, and we're gonna mess around with that a little bit because it's gonna give us a nice soft dial back clarity that you get from old film lenses and stuff like that. And it's quite enjoyable to use. You've got, this is the adapter here, and you've got up to f16 all the way down to 1.4. And the focus on it is it's quite smooth. It's just really nice to use. And it does a little bit of a vignette. So I just crop it into a 1:1 aspect ratio, which is kind of fun. It's like you're shooting old school square format. So yeah, I'm gonna take a couple shots of this, see how it turns out. So to adapt a vintage lens, you actually have to make sure that you turn on the shoot without lens capability on the Fuji cameras. They all have that to protect the sensor. All right, so there's a cool shot just up the road here, but I have to block a lane. I'm gonna drive the car up there, throw the hazards on, and I'll quickly jump out and set up the camera and see if I can show you guys what I'm looking at. But up on the hill when I was coming down, it's just like 100 yards this way. Next to this warehouse and everything, there's a river. It's all frozen right now still, which is weird because it's been like +6, +5 degrees and raining the last few days. So I'm gonna try and get the car up there and get the camera up high enough where I can get a shot with the bridge and everything back here. I think it'd be kind of cool. So we're gonna attempt it. I think it'll be kind of neat. This kind of neat little spot. This is the access road here to Hayward Lake, and there's this nice little pullout that we're in. And I kind of like the line of the road flowing down there, and right here we've got all these, you know, dead trees and green trees and pine trees and stuff. So kind of a cool backdrop on two little angles here, which is nice. So I'm actually going to switch. I got a 65 f1.4 that I'm going to try out. I think it'll work really well for this scene. Not to turn this into a garage episode, but car's a little bit of a clatter to it. Just in need of an oil change, but still gonna enjoy it for today. Light is so increment right now. It's just like, sun's out, it's cloudy, it's overcast, it's garbage. I might switch to black and white. Black and white might be a move here. It's cool when you do monochrome, you can change the wash of the color, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go straight up black and white with a lot of contrast because I like that. Well, it looks like sort of a Tri-X or maybe even an Ilford. Oh yeah. That's the look I'm after. That looks sick. Fun fact, I only started shooting black and white last year because I hated it before. Now I love it. I'm really actually enjoying shooting with this thing now. I'm getting more dialed in and the settings are becoming a little bit more second nature. Tonight, we're going on a night mission to North Vancouver, British Columbia, which is actually where I bought the car from. So we're gonna kind of go see a couple cool little spots that I know down there. Just feel it out. I'm gonna spend a couple hours out there, you know, when there's no traffic or anything, and just see how this camera handles like nighttime. I do a lot of nighttime shooting and I try to do it handheld because I find it unnatural to be setting up a tripod to do shots and stuff. I just like to kind of run and gun. So we're gonna try it like that and see how it goes, but I'm gonna snap a few more around here. Probably gonna get out of here. So see you guys out in North Vancouver.
Greetings from North Vancouver, British Columbia. This is where I bought the 996 from, just down the road from here, off a fella named Bill. I've always liked this area of town. It's kind of industrial. Got some cool lighting scenes down this Pemberton Street here, with all the automotive shops and stuff, including this cool auto detailing sign that's behind me. So I got the vintage Minolta adapter and 50mm 1.4 hooked up to the GFX100S II, and we're gonna see how this thing does in low light. I think it will be some tasty tones and lighting. All right, so I'm actually at, what mall is this? I don't know, I'm at the mall in North or West Van. I think the Lionsgate Bridge is in the background there, and I've always wanted to do this shot, I never have. It's windy and it's actually really cold here. I don't know why it's colder here than it is like 10 minutes down the road. So I'm gonna make this happen quick, probably a little bit of light painting. So I'm at F11, 25-second exposure, and I set the self timer so that I don't shake the shit out of the camera. Hopefully that was enough. So yeah, I eventually broke down and busted out the tripod and came up with this honestly really nice light painting shot. There's a few flares and stuff in it that I might get rid of later, but ended up being one of my favorite shots from the night. I'm glad I stopped here and got the Lionsgate Bridge in the background. This second one was total hot garbage. The tripod must have moved somehow, but ended up not being anything worth looking at. All right guys, that is gonna do it for this episode. The 911 threw me a check engine light to end off the other night, and I just decided to call it. Brought it back here. It's a CAT efficiency code for my secondary O2s, so I've got new O2 sensors on the way, as well as a couple little other maintenance bits for the car, which we will get to sometime this season. Next week, we are gonna be back on Felony, my 68 Mustang project. We're gonna be doing a buttload of metal work. I got big plans to get done on this car next week. Super excited for that. Big shout out to Fujifilm Canada for loaning me the GFX100S II. I was very last minute, but we made it work. I was able to get some good footage and test it out the best I could in the time I had, and I really enjoyed it. Personally, the big question I'm sure a lot of you are just dying to ask, would I buy it? Did I buy it? No, I did not buy it. I did have to return it. It's actually a loaner camera, so I can't actually purchase that one. Would I purchase a GFX100S II? Probably, if I had the coin to drop on it. It is a fairly expensive camera. It is a large format camera with 100 megapixels, got a lot of technology behind it. It retails somewhere in the neighborhood of about 7 grand Canadian, if I'm checking like Amazon and stuff. The amount of detail, dynamic range, the stabilization, Fujifilm's color science and film simulations backing it is a wonderful package. Honestly, if someone was handing me several $1,000s to build a like high-end cinema rig out of a mirrorless camera, I would probably start with that body. It did have its shortcomings. There is some latency in some of the controls. The thumbstick isn't very fast. The ergonomics aren't all what I'm used to, I guess. They're probably actually a little bit more comfortable, which doesn't make sense, but I'm used to more of the rangefinder style cameras. My 50R, I can operate that without ever taking my eye to the viewfinder, which I found myself chimping a lot and like looking at menus a lot on the GFX, which I don't particularly enjoy as much, but that also might be just my brain, you know, not knowing the camera as well yet. By the time I was bringing it back, I was pretty used to some of the controls, and you know, the menu structure is based off of everything else Fujifilm, so I do know where to find everything. It's just the buttons are a little bit different. That's a camera that I would definitely put on my radar if you are a professional working in any of the industries of photography, whether it's real estate, portraiture, you know, motorsport. Definitely look into the GFX100S II. It is a fantastic camera. It's very, very
Very, very high-end stuff. And I definitely recommend it for my friends that are in the line of work of taking photos every day and getting paid for it. Put it on your spreadsheet, expense it over a few months or a year, you'll be fine. I'm gonna get out of here. I got a video to finish. Like I said, we'll be back on the Mustang next week, and then we're gonna get ready for a few events that I have coming up in the spring. Looking forward to some more adventures this year. It's gonna be a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff on the horizon. We'll see how it goes. Thank you again for stopping by. Thank you again for all the support on last week's video. It's actually just rolled over 10,500 views as I'm making this clip right now. I did not expect it to be so well received. It was just something I did for fun. I really enjoyed it, so I guess that shines through and shows in the video. It was a great time, and I'm so happy for all the comments and all the feedback. Any feedback, thank you again for stopping by the shop. Thanks for all the support on the channel. Please like and subscribe and do all that fun stuff. Share this video with your friends. I will be right back here next week working on Felony. As always, please be kind, drive hard, and at some point, I will see you on the road. My exit is blocked by the camera and the light, so I'm gonna go this way. I'll see you later.